get on with the good crack stuff, which is the second half where we actually did come out with a little bit of intent. And the manager showed some right at half-time by making subs to the effect of Robbo, Harvey and McMack all coming on for Damsabozlai, the aforementioned Simicus, and Curtis Jones. And I think an awful lot of people will have been looking at Luis Diaz in that first half and going, you're a lucky lad. And there may be other lads who will also think, that they got away with one. But it looks like he did a good job, to be fair, with his substitution, because whatever the chemistry change that occurred, Diaz and Darwin started to be a little bit more effective. Diaz immediately cuts in and crosses on 46 to win a corner. The ball eventually breaks to Mo, who helps on to Harvey Elliott, who drives a right-footed shot that's saved well and leaves for another corner. And yet another one between sort of 47 and 48 minutes, which finally ends up with Robbo shooting wide, I do believe. But the first goal, Dave, and I'll just stay with you for this first one, is Darwin Núñez. Diaz again looking lively with end product this time, raiding down that left flank, and he pulls it back beautifully, having gone past the man, driven straight for the byline, goes past his man. Lovely little pull back. It's a very deliberate pass into the path of Darwin. Now, on a different day with a different striker, this is potentially a difficult chance, especially for one who is, supposed to be, very patchy and scruffy in front of goal. He does incredibly well technique wise. He opens up the inside of his right foot and finishes it. It's really, really nice. It's calm, it's composed finish. You can say all you like, it's a simple chance, but the vast majority of people listen to this having a chance of scoring that. It's going to bounce off them in every single direction. It seemed composed to me. I'm trying to give the guy a bit of credit here for some composure for once.
Oh, I think he deserves big credit. I think not only the composed finish, but like the aggressiveness of the run to get goal side of Bella Kotchap. And like you said, like it's a lovely cushioned instep. We've seen him miss these chances. Like people can say they're easy. We have seen this very striker miss that chance more than once. I think Diaz obviously deserves huge credit as well. Like you said, I mean, it's a great run. Walker Peters is a good fullback. And he takes him and he just beats him. And he beats him flat out. Good composed cut back as well. Puts it in a space for the attacker, for the striker to attack. And Darwin attacks it really well. And it's a really good finish. And I'm in a group chat with Guy and a few others. And the entire halftime conversation was one of these two or both of these two need to come off. Because they'd had horror show first halves. But credit to them, they combined brilliantly. And I thought Diaz actually had a really good second half in general. But they combined brilliantly. And it's a well-worked goal. And thankfully enough, it got us back in the game good and early in the half. Because it felt today, because the crowd was poor first half. It was almost like they were just expecting us to turn up and win. And, they were in the same mindset maybe as PSG of, like, let's conserve ourselves for the middle of the week. And if we don't score early in that second half, it's one of them where you could see the crowd start to get real edgy, real antsy, and real negative. And it could have become a very long, sloggy second half. But getting that early goal changed everything. And from there, the atmosphere was great.
Yeah, we kind of doubled down, Carl, because it's a quick turnaround to the second goal, which, has everyone quite buoyant then. And in between the two goals, there's another effort by Luis Diaz. His shot is blocked. The penalty is given on 52 minutes, where a small ball comes through the back of Darwin Núñez. I don't think there's a whole lot to check on it. The VAR went ahead and did that anyway and ended up giving the penalty, which Mo blasted high to the keeper's right. Well, sort of mid-height to the keeper's right with tremendous power. And it's not as close to the post as the commentary team I was listening to was making out, but a very deliberately, powerfully hit strike. And at that stage, we're looking at Mo Salah doing all sorts of very interesting things. And we know that now he's past Gordon Hodgson on the back of this next one as well. And he's hitting all sorts of things. Maybe we'll wait until we're talking about that next goal just so we can say exactly where he is with all these facts and figures. But the thing I wanted you to reflect on just real quick before you and I take it on through the rest or a big chunk of this second half, because honestly, it's one of those games where, like you said, right, quite rightly, the amount of like notable incidents are minimal. Um, there was a lovely sort of deliberate um, uh, pressure and positivity being exerted by the Reds from the moment they came out in the second half, and we did not like sit back. And like I say, there was a Luis Diaz chance in between the goal and the penalty, so the intensity had been ratcheted up. It's a much abused word, but it was very much there, and it was nice to double down and really take advantage of that as early as we did in the second half.
Yeah, and I agree it was necessary, not just for the crowd, but for our players as well. And, the extra level of stress and anxiety that kind of brings during the match, and the fact that Southampton would have been buoyed and they would have got more aggressive and more, everything about them would have been the opposite as well. So as soon as we scored that first one, it was really, really important. But also we are probably one of the best teams around at doing this, upping the pressure even more and making teams not be able to get out and making them feel suffocated and like they're chasing their own shadows and all that sort of thing. And we are really, really good at that, to be fair. And we have been for years. Excuse me. Again, big credit for Darwin, involved in several goals recently, which is a really important upturn. We had Szoboszlai over the last month or so contributing goals and assists. Now Darwin start to do a few as well. So hopefully that is something we can continue getting a few from each different kind of people across the rest of the campaign. I particularly enjoyed Smallbone. Apologies, my lip reading skills are off here, but telling the ref both that was never a pen and I didn't touch him. Obviously, immediately followed by replays of him colliding with calf, shin bone, and probably 2 or 3 other areas as well as they went down into a heap. So that was something special.
I just on the substitutions as well, just before we and I move on, in case we don't get a chance to acknowledge it. Each of the 3 of Robbo, Harvey, and McAllister did come on, have very, very positive influences. You'd have to say, I mean, Diaz perhaps already benefited immediately from second of the second half from not having someone behind him who's in a bit of a stupor. And Robbo went on to do various Robbo bits. Harvey, I thought, looked very much more like himself. Maybe he would all the time if he got more minutes on the pitch, but looking for the ball and quite confident on it. And again, McAllister's just, like I said earlier on, he's the adult in the room. When we have him in the team, we are just a different proposition.
Yeah, I mean, he only played 45 minutes. I think he was the best player on the park again. So I think, I might be wrong, but I think this was the most minutes in a league game that Elliott's played this season. So like I may be incorrect about that, but kind of does speak volumes as to what you were saying. Like, but on the other hand, we have been really good this season, and you can't really say, oh, he should have been playing instead of player X, Y, or Z. So you kind of understand that these other, let's say, fringe players have had to wait and bide their time. But on the other hand, as we've spoken about previously with Endo and maybe Chiesa and 1 or 2 others, probably there's been opportunities to bring them on for 20, 25 minutes at a time in different moments of the season. But if it so happens that Elliott or Endo or Gakpo, when he's back fit, or whoever it is able to contribute off the bench in 20-minute spells for 3 or 4 matches which really matter, then that's their role this season and they've got to do it.
Not only is it the longest he's played in a Premier League game this season, the previous longest was 22 minutes against Ipswich. So over double that today. The issue for him is that when he played his 22 minutes against Ipswich, he didn't actually get off the bench for the next 4 games and has played 1 minute since then until today.
Yeah, and I think, the kid can feel hard done by, and that's kind of what I was trying to say. I think if he finds himself on the pitch more, we're going to see him doing more things, and it's very, very hard to grab your opportunity with both hands when your opportunities are so limited. But look, it is great that he can come in and do bits like he's been doing. It speaks volumes to the depth of the squad, and it's nice to see. I do want to just, Carl, before I move on with the rest of the second half, with Dave and leading up to the third goal. I want to build up to the next substitution because we had a weird situation today. I think we had 6 substitutes, which confused the hell out of me until I realized it's probably concussion subs. And I think that's why we got the extra one. But I was running out of fingers on my hands there thinking, well, what's actually happening here? But I want to build up to the substitution that's made on 67 minutes. And just after the penalty is blasted home by Mo in 54, Darwin inadvisedly goes in on Ramsdale off the ball, and I think everyone's a bit nervous because he's already on the yellow. Trent has a long ranger about 4 yards wide of the keeper's right-hand post on the 60-minute mark, and they bring on Sugawara and Archer for Dibbling and Grunbach, I think, on 62. Harvey does well, but ends up kind of underneath the header because he's 5 foot fuck all from a Diaz cross. And then at 67 minutes, and this is what I'm building up to, Jota comes on for Darwin. Now, Jota has enjoyed this reputation amongst us, I think on this show, and I think amongst Liverpool fans in general, as sort of, our go-to most natural finisher, old school striker type, scuffs them in, gets his foot in there, he turns up where it matters, etc., etc. That performance by Jota today, on the back of several recent showings, I tweeted that he looked like a middle-aged lad who'd won a raffle to play for Liverpool for half an hour. He was just out of sync with everybody else, and I thought in most of his recent appearances, a remarkable detachment from the play and sort of, bustling and barreling about, but not in that way that we've seen him do so often where he's effective and he can go past a man, or he can outstrength the guy, or he can take part in build-up, or he just gets his foot there at the vital moment to bobble something over the line. He looks, when he's off it, I think because goals are so much a part of what we expect from that guy, when he's off it, he can really, really look like he doesn't deserve or have any reason to be wearing that shirt. Am I being excessively harsh, do you think?
No, not at all. We've had this similar thing around Jota before, and what I think is the main issue here is injuries. It does take him quite a while to get back up to full speed after he's been out, and he's had a couple of absences this season. You mentioned the goals. Actually, Jota's last Premier League goal was before Darwin's last Premier League goal. I'm obviously excluding today's one, so it is longer back than Darwin's last league goal was. So, he's not looked very good. He's not looked very sharp. I think some of the time we see him in sort of deeper areas, and his movement can be very good, and he escapes a player and sort of gets into a little bit of space, but then he doesn't really have the acceleration in his game anymore to sort of get away from the next one or into, better areas when he's 30 yards out starting those runs, that kind of thing. So Jota's really, really good when we're in and around the box. And obviously aerial, he's pretty decent. He is a very good all-round player, but I do think it takes him quite a while to get back up to full speed. And, Anna's referenced it as well, that not just the injuries that he's had, but in attempting to prevent further injuries, they've had to not use him 90 minutes regularly, let's say. So I think it was October last time he played a full 90 minutes in the Premier League. I don't think he's played since then off the top of my head, but that was what we spoke about on Scouted a little while ago. So not in the best of form at the minute. And again, that's really what I was referring to when talking about Szoboszlai doing better and Núñez doing better. You can't just rely on Salah, obviously, to get the goals. You do need the other forward 4, 5, 6 players to be able to chip in 2, 3, 4 times every sort of 7 or 8 games between them, kind of thing. It's really, really important there. Also, apologies if I completely missed this or was concentrating on something else, but you mentioned Darwin getting booked. I think we need to say Darwin, Guy was talking before we went live there. Darwin didn't just get booked. Darwin nearly booted someone into Goodison Park is basically what happened there for the yellow card.
Alright, Reds, it's Jack here, and that was a clip from one of Anfield Index's audio podcasts. If you have enjoyed the video, make sure you do like, share and subscribe to keep up to date on all things LFC. We record around 100 audio podcasts every month, with our shows featuring match-going fans, top journalists, professional analysts and even Liverpool legends along the way. With the great Dane himself, Jan Molby, joining us every single week. If you want to listen to all our podcasts as free, head over to anfieldindex.com/podcasts. Our audio shows are available wherever you get your podcasts. Just search Anfield Index. Or if you prefer to listen to all our podcasts in full and without any ads, why not head over to AI Pro today to check it out now at AnfieldIndexPro.com. If you want to get involved in the great growing community of Liverpool fans, check out the Anfield Index Discord. The link is in the description. Do get involved with that from Reds around every corner of the globe. For now, Reds, hope you enjoyed this video.